What is going on, world? Welcome back to Aqua Malik. Many of you have messaged me and asked me why we cannot sell fish in many of our chain stores. In Canada right now, there's a ban on selling fish. Yes, no selling of fish through any of the chain stores like PetSmart, for example. They have not banned small people like breeders and stuff like myself who do not have an infestation of zebra mussels, who practice proper quarantine from sale of fish. But as a good faith measure, I have also stopped selling fish until the end of the mandate. It will be on the first week of April. So 4th of April, we will be able to resume sale of fish. So if you are on my waiting list and you want to buy fish, you can start buying fish after the 4th of April.
Produced by Mali.
I do not have a zebra mussel infestation in my aquatic systems, but a lot of the big chain stores that import plants and stuff have had outbreaks. So that's why the Government of Canada and the Environmental Protection Agency of Canada taken the steps to ensure that these animals do not spread further into our natural waterways. I hate the idea that when people say it's already here, throw their hands in the air and say there's nothing we can do. This is a common state of mind that humans seem to have, is that even with the COVID outbreak, when we had 5 or 10 cases, our health experts threw their hands in the air and said, it's already here, there's nothing we can do. Now we're at 1 million cases, okay? And even now there's something we can do. But we could have done something a lot better when we had 10 cases if they didn't throw their hands in the air and said there's nothing we can do. You cannot give up that easily. We are not an animal or a species of creature that is that easily defeated. We went to the moon. We are going to Mars. How are we so easily defeated over a little infestation? You know, it's not how we should be thinking about this. We have to be proactive as concerned citizens, as aquarists, and we have to do our part to protect our water. This water is precious. Our lake is precious. My fish live in the water that comes from the lake. I drink the water that comes from the lake, straight out of the tap. I bathe in it. I do all my other stuff with it. Every other person in our province that lives next to the lake, which is pretty much most of the main cities, all depend on the lake for drinking, for washing, for everything else. All of our industries, all of our agriculture that's close to the lake, all depends on the water that comes from our lake. So if our lake dies, these animals will die, our fish will die, and in turn we will die. We cannot have this happen to one of the biggest freshwater reservoirs in the world. So when people say there are zebra mussels in Lake Ontario, I have never seen them. I go to the lake every year. I'm on the shoreline at different places across the province close to me. So I've never seen them, and I want to keep it like that. So therefore, we don't have a zebra mussel infestation in our lake yet, and we have to make sure that we do not do this to our own lake. And I know pet store owners and people that work in pet stores and stuff all the time say, oh, it's already here, there's nothing we can do. That is not true. There's something you can do. There are places in Ontario that does have some infestations, but in general, Ontario is not a zebra mussel hotspot like they would like to make you believe. Okay, if it was a hotspot, then you would see it in every waterway. You would see it in people's aquariums. You know, these things are microscopic. When they reproduce, the larvae are really small, so they could come through, you know, different systems into our systems. But that doesn't happen. It's not encrusting our shoreline. It's not encrusting our harbors. It's not here. Okay, we might have quagga mussels, which are the largest species, which lives in a deeper part of the lake. Now, that is not the same as a zebra mussel that lives on the shoreline. Both are different species, and we have to ensure that we do not introduce either of them to any of our waterways by further moving them around. So everybody has it upon themselves as aquarists, as responsible citizens of these nations, to make sure that we do not introduce these to any waterway that they're not already existing. Even if they are in a waterway, you should ensure that you do not introduce, because you might have the quagga mussels in one waterway and not zebra mussels, and by introducing them you are now putting twice the amount of pressure on the native flora and fauna. Okay, so you got to remember, every little thing we do affects our environment, and these environments are very fragile. A lot of the water systems we have are quite fragile, and these little changes by introducing these invasive animals could essentially mean it becomes, our waterways become dead. And that's what zebra mussels do. They destroy the waterway by taking up all the nutrients and making the lakes, for example, completely dead. If it's a deep lake where you can see 4 or 5 meters down on a clear day, you could clearly see down to the bottom without any problem. And you might think, oh great, the water is so crystal clear. And that's because the zebra mussel has taken up all the nutrition and nothing else can live in it. No diatoms, no microfauna, nothing. So there's no food for any of the animals that essentially live there except for the zebra mussels, and nothing eats them that live in our waterways. So in turn, the lake dies, okay? And we cannot afford our lakes to die like that. And I'm really happy Canada has taken the steps to mandate the stopping of sale of freshwater fish and livestock, and also saltwater, I think, as well, just to be safe, for the next few days. And I'm really happy our Environmental Protection Agency has mandated this and stopped the sale. But America did not. The US has not done that, and the US has left it to you guys, the aquarists, to be responsible. So please be responsible, aquarists. If you are in North America, this is a threat that we all face as a continent, and we do not want it. You do not want it. I will put some bureau footage at the end of this of some of the lakes that, like here in Ontario, that do have infestations. Not Lake Ontario. Please don't say it's in Lake Ontario, because it's not. And please don't introduce it to the lake because you think it's already there. It's not, okay? This is a real problem that we can actually stop. So you have to all do your part. And if you are in the US, be responsible. And when you are buying plant products, for example, be careful, quarantine them, make sure, like, use some type of chemical treatment. Things with copper, I believe, can kill the mussels and their larvae, but do some research on it and figure out if it actually does affect them negatively, and do several treatments before you introduce incoming plants into your aquatic systems, into your home aquatic systems. And by any means, do not discard any of these into a sewer or your toilet or anywhere their water could collect and be transferred into another water body, because that is essentially a sure shot way of transmitting this invasive animal into a new water system. So that's essentially the bottom line. We have to do our part as responsible aquarists, and there's a lot of videos that were made in the past, in the few weeks, about this, but no Canadians have made a video about it, and we are not selling fish right now in Canada, so therefore I believe it's important that we talk about it, because a lot of people were upset. A lot of my personal friends were really upset that they couldn't go to PetSmart and buy fish, and they all messaged me and they're like, why is PetSmart not selling fish? And when I told them I'm not also selling fish until the 4th of April, just because I want to be I want to do my part, I want to do my own part to make sure that this does not become a problem further into us, into our ecosystems. So that's why I think I made the video, to educate you guys further and to let you guys know what's going on. And it's only a few days away, and we will resume fish sales after that point. I mean, I'm not mandated to stop selling fish because I don't actually have an outbreak. I don't import plants. I don't keep any of those things that they come from. All my animals in my fish room are born here, or they were imported and quarantined for months and months and months before I introduced them to my fish room, because I take biosecurity really seriously. But that does not mean a chain store like PetSmart does take biosecurity that seriously. So therefore, the government mandated that they don't sell any live products for the next few days. And that's a great thing we did, and I'm really happy our Environmental Protection Agency is on top of this, and I'm really grateful. And I'm really grateful for you guys for watching this video and for being members on my channel, so that I can also bring this type of information to you and educate you guys on issues at hand. As always, thank you so much for your love and support, and for being a responsible aquarist. And please do your part to ensure that we do not further the invasion of zebra mussels into our natural waterways. Thank you so much. protect your own waterways and love the water that is in the area where you live in, because without that water, we cannot exist. Thank you so much. I love you all. God bless you.